This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
So here we are. I wanted to show you the backyard again because we had some trouble last time, but you know, cuttersedgepro.com does some amazing stuff, and they're the boys and the girl. They're having fun. There we go. Right, Maiden? Right, Bono? There we go. They're having fun. I'm having fun. Look at our Sylvester palm. It is beautiful. We got another one in the front yard like that. You can take your home and landscaping to the next level. And the artificial turf, look at that. Look at that. The two dinosaurs going at it, huh? Look at that. Gotta love the dinosaurs. Look at them. They like to bite each other's legs. That's what they do. They play with each other and then they bite each other and they piss each other off. It's fun. One is Bono, which is the one farther away from you, and Maiden. She's the girl right here. She's a badass. That's for sure. So anyway, see the flowers are coming out. Very nice. cuttersedgepro.com, folks. This big tree there will start budding that I'm showing you there soon. It'll have all kinds of flowers. I'll post another video and I'll show it to you. This is a backyard where everybody gets to hang out. Over there in the corner there, I put the barbecue and cook. So that way it's the farthest away from the house, you know. If I light myself on fire or somebody else, we're out in the corner away from everybody. There you go. So you can get some flowers coming out, which is a beautiful thing. And I swear by this artificial turf, it always looks phenomenal. I don't have to cut it. I don't have to water it. And so I'm saving a lot of money, hundreds and thousands in the long run, because I'm not watering or, of course, cutting the grass. And you know, here in South Florida, we cut the grass like every 10 to 14 days.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
When you move, you need a reliable.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Coverage of Zach Thomas's induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame is brought to you by Baptist Health of South Florida. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer, get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at baptisthealth.net.
Hialeah Park Casino is turning 10, and we're bringing you an anniversary bash like never before. See a million, win a million. Join us every Saturday in August, where 10 lucky customers will have a chance to take home $1 million. Snap a selfie with $1 million in cash, post it on social media, and get ready to win even more fantastic prizes. Come to Hialeah Park Casino's 10th anniversary celebration and make history with us. When you see a million, win a million.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloan Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloan Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloan Shield.
Coverage of Zach Thomas's induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame is brought to you by Perdomo cigars. Perdomo has some of the most sought-after handmade cigars that set the standard for quality and flavor around the world. We hope you enjoy their cigars and invite you to visit their retail store in Miami at 5150 Northwest 167th Street, Miami Gardens, Florida.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Wilton Rayon is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Wilton Rayon, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Wilton Rayon can help. The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Our platform's coverage of Zach Thomas's induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame is brought to you by EJDconstruction.com, Wilton Rayon Law Firm serving South Florida to the Keys, Perdomo Cigars, visit their retail store in Miami Lakes, CuttersEdgePro.com, your total landscape solution, Sloman's Home Security, visit them at Slomans.com, Baptist Health of South Florida, visit them at BaptistHealth.net. On behalf of everyone on the Big O radio show platform, we'd like to congratulate Miami Dolphins Hall of Famer linebacker Zach Thomas. The Big O radio show hits the road once again. This time, Miami Dolphins fans, we're in Canton, Ohio to watch Zach Thomas get the honor he deserves as he's inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. This road trip is brought to you by Cutter's Edge Pro, Sloman's Home Security, EJDconstruction.com, Perdomo Cigars, Baptist Health of South Florida, and Wilton Rayon Law Offices. And now, here's your host, Orlando Alzugari.
All righty. Good morning, one and all. How about that, huh? A show on a normal time? Yes, at least for now. There'll be mix-ups as always. You know what? I did not fix my lighting, by the way. So let me fix my lighting. Tell me I'm not a kick-ass lighter. Huh? Look at that. Look at that crap right there. And they get to see the bags and everything. They get to see my Benicio del Toro impersonation, which I am the Benicio del Toro of broadcasters. I own that shit. Anyway, good morning. We are still in Akron, Ohio. We wrapped up all the coverage yesterday because we're hardcore. We stayed all the way through the round table, and then we went back to the Hall of Fame so they can put Zach's bust in the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? We completed the experience full circle. That's what we did. So we'll drive back to Cleveland after this show, and we'll fly back to Miami. We'll be in town for one day only, by the way. I'll be in town on Tuesday. Tuesday, I'll go to Dolphins camp, and we'll cover camp, and then we'll do an afternoon show from Hialeah Park. And then I'm gone. Wednesday, I'm headed out to Quebec. I am headed to Canada for about 5 days, something like that, 6 days or something. 2 days in Quebec, 3 days in Montreal, I think it is, something like that. Anyway, so I leave Wednesday, come back Monday. There you go. So, but we'll be having some fun. I'll see Alter Bridge one night, which I'm looking forward to that. I love Alter Bridge, man. I think Miles Kennedy is an excellent front man, and that's a really, 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 really good band. Excellent guitarist too. And then we go see Metallica for 2 nights. So in Montreal. So we'll drive down to Montreal from Quebec and go check it out. We'll have poutine and all that. Although Mike's place, the place we went to, was it yesterday or the day before? Yesterday, Mike's place. They had poutine, actually, but I did not try it. Because if I'm going to try poutine, I got to go to Canada to do that. You know what I mean? That's kind of, that's the law. As Nino Brown would say, that's the law. Okay? That's the law. Miss Hawkins. I wasn't born with a silver spoon like you, Miss Hawkins. Anyway, great weekend, man. It was an experience that, of course, it's once in a lifetime. That's the kind of stuff that you were able to experience. And hopefully we took you along. For those of you that could not be here, we were able to get you a little closer to it. I hope you checked out the Zach Thomas interview. It is there for the consumption. So if you want to check it out, I went into a lot of his connection with the fans. Went into some of the stuff with – it's interesting because in our interview, we asked him, hey, dude, okay, you got in. It's great, right? But Richmond Webb's been waiting longer than you. And Kuchenberg's been waiting longer than you. And the Marx brothers have been waiting longer than you. And there's no talk about those guys, you know? And so I mentioned all those kind of guys that we talk about all the time and say, well, what about Richmond Webb? And then it's interesting because if you watch the roundtable and you'll see our piece that Zach produced, there's a portion there where they ask him who's the guy that belongs in the Hall of Fame and isn't. And Zach actually, right after we had that conversation, so it was fresh in his mind, he did the same thing. He went through all the guys and talked about Cooch and talked about, the Marx brothers and all that. And then he said Richmond Webb is the guy, which, I think as a Dolphin Nation, God, we need to badly push for Richmond Webb to get into the Hall of Fame, man. That would be really, really nice if he can get into the Hall of Fame. But it was a fantastic weekend, a great experience. It was Sean's first time. For me, I got to tell you, it was a lot more fun this time around because there were more things than the last time I came with Marino. There were less things that were going on and stuff like that. So, and I thought, and this time around, the last time I came, let me be honest too, it was 2006. And I was kind of a night weekend host, I think, at that time. I think I was. I don't know if I was already midday at that time. But when I went to the Marino thing, I was kind of just covering it as a reporter and did some hits. Maybe I don't know if I may have done a weekend show or something. I don't remember. It was so long ago already at this time. It might have been. I'm not sure. But this time around, obviously, with our own platform that Sean and I get to drive every day and we get to do whatever we want, it was a lot more fun because we were able to do shows every day while we're here. And then the best part was connecting with a lot of you, which was the coolest thing out there because I tell you all the time, if you see me somewhere, come up to me. You know, I'd love to meet the people that make this platform go around. And so it was really cool meeting fans from all over the world, because literally they were from all over the world there, and that was the coolest thing. And again, I'll say it over and over and over again. Of course, Cleveland was number one because it was in their backyard. My God, you get in the car, you're here in a half hour. So, okay, 45 minutes from Cleveland. But not everybody lives in Cleveland. They live in all different little towns around. So they all came here. We would have packed the stadium. If you put this thing in West Palm Beach, and we all had to drive to West Palm Beach, and plus our West Palm Beach fans, our Port St. Lucie fans, our Martin County fans, all that, there would not have been a seat open if Zach Thomas is getting into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. There were a lot of seats open. Now, the Cleveland fans showed up, no doubt. They showed up strong. I believe if that was in our backyard, we would have had a stronger showing than Cleveland did. But outside of Cleveland, which was the obvious, Miami was the most represented team. Number one, over the Jets, over Dallas, because the Jets were well represented, and so were Dallas. I'm not gonna diss their fans like I will Tampa. Holy shit, you people suck. Anyway, well, at least you got Burn Steakhouse. I'll never take that away from you because you've got Burn Steakhouse. But the Tampa turnout was super freaking weak, bro. I mean, super weak. I understood the Bengal turnout because it's an older player. And, that's generations past. So I kind of get it. You know what I'm saying? And even the Chargers fans with Air Coryell getting there, that was a long time ago. So I kind of understand that I didn't see a ton of Chargers and a ton of Bengals. So they get a pass. The Bucs don't get a pass. Wow, you suck. You suck. Seriously, you suck. Did I tell them that they suck?
No.
You suck. Just want you to know, you suck. Wow. Holy crap, you suck. So yeah, that was very unimpressive by the Bucs fans. You suck. Anyway, but the Dolphins, dominant, bro. Absolutely dominant. Dominant. The presence was awesome. Awesome. So these are the things I get to live. So most of you don't, because you don't really connect with everybody like I do. And I get to hear it from people all over the place. Our fan base is awesome. Absolutely awesome. And if it starts winning, it's going to even explode even more, because that's what happens to every team that wins. Their fan bases explode. But ours doesn't really need to win to be strong. It's already strong. Oh, by the way, new shirt I added to the collection. There we go. Pro Football Hall of Fame, Zach Thomas, Miami Dolphins, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, baby. I think I swear to you, it feels like I'm at a concert because, I bought like 4 different Zach shirts. Once in a lifetime, man. It's once in a lifetime. So I saw this one yesterday. I said, wow, that one's interesting. Let me get. You bought this one too, right? Did you get to buy this one, the Zach Thomas one with the football in the middle?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, they had a bunch of them.
I got the one with all of the Dolphins also.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That one.
Okay.
I can't remember if that's the other one.
Yeah, so this one's really cool. So I was able to buy several, which was absolutely awesome. So anyway, we got Ira Winderman joining us at 10:30. Marcel Louis-Jacques will join us at 11. The Dolphins are off today. They've been off the last 2 days. They reviewed the film from Saturday's practice, where obviously the defense dominated. And one of the things that I do want to I need to walk some of you off the ledge. And apparently, by the way, let me comb my hair here. I just got out of the shower a little while ago, so it is still wet. Didn't feel like drying it. What's it called? there's some of you out there that you're freaking out about Wilkins. And I'm not sure what that is coming from because I'm getting the DMs and I'm getting the emails. And you can always email me, by the way, at bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. But the DMs on Twitter, on Instagram, all that stuff, hell, Threads, people are reaching out. That's actually interesting that I'm actually making some contact with people on Threads, which I try to use it. I try to post everything we post everywhere else, also on Threads. It just doesn't move as much. But anyway, still getting it there too. Stop freaking out about Christian Wilkins. The deal will get done. You don't see the player bitter. You know, it's just, and I saw the drama pieces. Well, you know, Wilkins feels like he's earned the right. And I get what the media's doing, dude. He hasn't signed. Let's write. I don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. So maybe it's dramatic. Wow, how can they keep Christian Wilkins holding on? Have you not learned that Chris Greer is not an easy negotiator? Have you not learned that these guys just don't give it away? And so they're going to try to structure a contract that's good for him and it's good for the team also as much as possible. So that way, if anything goes awry, not that he will go awry, but injuries could happen to any player and derail anybody's career. And then that derails your contract. And then, you know, so all of these things have to be worked out. And here's what I would tell you that shows me that there is no bitterness in the negotiations. Have you heard the team say anything negative about him? Or have you heard everybody on the team? And I'm talking about executives. I'm talking about coaches. Forget the players. Players are going to pull for each other always, no matter what. So there's not going to be a real objectivity there most of the time, unless it's so obvious that the person is a bad human being. But the front office guys, the coaches, are they dancing around it? No. In fact, they go overboard with praise on how much he means to the organization. That only helps his leverage. So that means they're not worried about his leverage. They're not worried about trying to give him more ammo or anything like that. That means the talks are amicable. That means they're working it out. And it's complicated because it's going to be a big ass deal. And, you know, I think sometimes in the media we get a little crazy because we want to create the drama and we start coming up with numbers that we don't even know if they exist or not. And so when you start saying, well, you know, maybe the Dolphins are offering 16 and he's not happy because other guys, and I think he's worth 18. And, you know, you don't know. They might be in the neighborhood of 18 or 20, but then some of the guarantees, it might be something of the incentives. It might be certain buyout clauses. It might be certain roster bonuses each year. This is going to be a long-term deal. This is not going to be an easy deal. So there's a lot of, you know, T's to cross, I's to dot. This isn't done overnight. And there's no hurry. The only people that are hurrying this up are who? My brothers and sisters in the media. They're the ones that write and talk and create something that is not even there. Do you see Saquon and New York here with Wilkins and the Dolphins? No, right? So then what are you worried about? I'm not exactly sure. What are you worried about? It'll get done. He's too important to the team. They tell you he's too important to the team. Constantly, they tell you how important he is to the team. You know, he sets the mood of that every day because he brings an energy that you have some of us, not everybody, because not every business even has a person like this. But there's a lot of businesses that you have that one person that has that incredible personality all the time. He's that dude. He's that dude. You know, and that's where I will tell you, walk off the ledge. Christian Wilkins fans, walk off the ledge. Everything will be all right. Ira Winderman at 10:30. Marcel Louis-Jacques at 11. We will have, let me see, where are we at? Okay, all right. And by the way, where are we with the market? Still sideways? Let's check. Yeah, Bitcoin's still right at 29,000. So holding strong as hell. Some of the altcoins got crazy over the weekend. Atlas made a little run, came back down, but Illuvium made a huge run. It was stuck at 40, 41 for a while, and it went up to 50. It's at 47.5 now. But that's one I have a lot of hope for down the line. So we had some of that going on. We got Ira Winderman joining us at the bottom of the hour. I got a couple of other things that I want to talk about. Marlins, by the way, got swept by the Rangers. Sandy, it's official now, right? Shitty season. Not a shitty first half, shitty season. It's over for him. Doesn't matter what happens now down the stretch, last month and couple weeks or whatever. Shitty season for Sandy Alcantara. So he better get his shit straightened out next year and come back and become the ace. I don't know. Do you call it panic, the Yuri Perez return? He pitches tonight.
Yeah, I have no idea what to call that.
Sounds like panic, total panic for me with the Marlins on that one. I don't know why you risk. See, here's the problem that I have with the Marlins. They don't have the money. And you made moves in the deadline like you think you're a good team. So you only needed to add a little small piece or two. No, dude, you're not a good team. You played way above your head in the first half of the season. You're not that good. You don't have players that can be consistent yet. Jazz Chisholm can never stay healthy. And that's another thing that's official. Just like it's official, Sandy sucked this year. Let's just call it like we see it. We know he's great, but he sucked this year. And yesterday, again, he sucked. I don't care that they didn't score runs. He sucked. He hasn't done his job this year. Okay? He doesn't walk off the mound every night allowing 1 or 2 earned runs, and he's losing 2 or 3 to 1 or 3 to 2. If that was the case, then we'd all defend Sandy. There ain't shit to defend with Sandy this year. Get it straight, dude. Get back on track next year because they got no shot at competing if you're not a dog. Okay? So he played like shit. And then the owner, Bruce Sherman, looks like a really nice guy. Okay? You talked all this stuff at the beginning of the year that your team was a playoff team, which none of us really believed it, to be honest, unless you're a blind-ass Marlins fan. And then you make some moves, like little moves, to just kind of set yourself up because you think you were a really good team. That's a terrible assessment, or it's just that you're cheap. I don't know which one it is. Eventually, I know you traded for a guy you can control for a couple of years, the cheeseburger. But, you know, it's all going to come to a head here. You're going to have to start paying some of these young guys, and we're going to see if you're going to pay them. You know, Arise, you're going to have to pay him a lot of money. And then these are going to be the tests, or are we going to say as Marlins fans, same old shit? Young guys can't pay, can't maintain a core. So we're going to find out. You talked a really good game, Bruce Sherman. You failed, dude. You failed miserably this year. You talked a lot of crap that you were ready to contend and that you're ready to help out Kim Eng and Cheeseburger and Dave Robertson is what you call, you know, putting the team over the top. Then, you know, you're a minor league outfit, bro. And what's the headline in the Herald today? The Marlins may have the batting champ in the majors and in the minors. I don't care about the minors. I'm freaking tired about hearing headlines about the Marlins in the minors. I'm sorry, dude. This isn't Jacksonville. Let the Jacksonville paper talk about that, or wherever the hell that team is. I don't give a shit. If it's in Palm Beach, well, let the Palm Beach paper, write it. If it's in Erie, Pennsylvania, well, let the Erie paper write about it. I'm tired of reading in the Herald and the Sentinel successes in the minors when it doesn't mean shit in the majors. So, just makes me sick. That's all. They've lost 7 of their last 9 after getting swept also by the Rangers. Yuri Perez, by the way, back on the mound today. The real ace of the team is back on the mound. Anyways, just make moves like you actually really, you're going to do something, because it's kind of pathetic to watch what's going on with the Marlins. You got some talent, and you don't do enough to become great. Bunch of bullshit. Last night, the reason why the Marlins will never matter again is because of what happened last night. They will never matter again in a summer because Bruce Sherman can never, ever compete with Jorge Mas or the Mas brothers, however you want to look at it, the Mas family. It'll never happen. And look what happened last night in Dallas, down 3-1, down 4-2. Messi with another brace, had the first goal and the fourth goal. And on that free kick, which was just absolutely beautiful. And then you win it on PKs. And Kremoski, their young 18-year-old that they're developing, he and Campana really added something when they came off the bench. And it was a frustrating night because Inter played like dog shit on defense. It was frustrating to watch. Watching them. And let's give Dallas credit. Their speed up front, Miami could not match their speed up front. It was one of those things that defensively they had to anticipate a lot of the things that were going to go on. And if they didn't, Dallas got the better end of it. What was the guy's name? Kumanga?
Yes.
Yeah, Kumanga, right? I was saying Cucamonga to have some fun yesterday. And the other kid, I forgot the kid's name, but the speed up front on the top for Dallas was impressive, dude. Impressive. And it was giving Miami problems. And let me tell you, one of the goals, I thought Callender overcommitted. He should have waited. The offensive player already had a limited angle. He wasn't towards the middle where he had the whole goal. He was to the left. So you only have a certain space that you have to cover. Once he went forward and he overcommitted and got past the goal, that's it. He put himself out of an angle, and that's where they scored the goal on him. So one of them I blame on Callender. Obviously, there were own goals going on in each. And then the other side of it, I got to give Dallas credit. Got to give them credit where they deserve it. You know what I mean? But Miami found ways. They had chances, and then they turned it up in the second half and kind of figured things out. Tata made the changes, brought on, and that's the other thing. Miami is now deep. Not only are they good starting, but when you've got Kremoski and Campana coming off the bench, and remember the two other transfers are not here yet. Aviles and the other kid, they're not here yet. They're going to be here probably in the next week, is what they said in the broadcast. Which, by the way, let me tell you something. The broadcast with 2 people is excellent. That's how you need to have it. Broadcast with 2 people, 3 people is just way too much crap being talked. And sometimes one person's not really adding that much. So keep the 2 people together. It happens in football all the time. I saw it now in soccer. Sometimes even in baseball, it happens where they just bring in too many people in the booth. 2 people was a much better broadcast yesterday instead of 3. And you got too many people talking. So anyway, just what's Messi, 7 goals now in 4 games?
I think so,
Yeah, 7 goals in 4 games. They will take on the winner of Charlotte and Houston, which is tonight. Okay, so tonight, and then they will host, by the way, for the round they're in the quarterfinals, the Elite 8, however you want to call it, but it's the quarterfinals. That's what it's called in Leagues Cup, and pretty cool, man. I mean, it is absolutely awesome to watch, and this is why baseball will never matter again in this town, because they don't want to compete, but Inter Miami is going to compete, bro. Inter Miami is, and I told people over and over again, yeah, they screwed up a ton. They make a lot of mistakes. They've made a lot of mistakes, and they'll probably make some more mistakes because the Moss brothers are new to this business. So mistakes are going to be made. But look at this. Look what they did this year. They made the mistake when they initially bought the team. They were building a team without a coach. And then when they got the coach, they didn't have all the right pieces because the coach wasn't happy with everything they had. Fast forward 4 years later, they're waiting for Tata. They don't use any of their resources. They wait for Tata to get here to then start making the decision on what player to bring, because you can't build a team without a coach. So see what I mean? It's when you learn how to run a business, and this happens to you, this happens to me, all of us. Anybody that starts to run a new business, you're going to make mistakes, dude. You're going to have setbacks, and there's a lot of you business owners out there that are watching me right now going, you're right, oh. I remember when I started my business, I made this mistake, that mistake, that mistake. 5-10 years later, you don't make those mistakes anymore because you lived and learned. That's how life is. And the Moss brothers are going to live and learn that you can't have 5 DPs, that you got to hire the right general manager, that you can't bring a defenseman for one of your DPs like they did early on when they had no offense with Tweedy. You'll learn how to not make mistakes. And that's exactly what they've done. And that's why they're getting better and better. And so you watch what's going on in baseball and you watch what's going on in soccer. And there's a reason why your summers, you're going to be more interested in soccer than in baseball. Older people either my age or older, some of you will still gravitate to baseball. It is bad baseball. So I don't know. But the younger people, and with what's going on with Messi, how do you stay away from that? That game last night was as exciting as it gets, as frustrating as it gets too, because it was terrible in that first half. That defense was terrible. Their speed was creating all kinds of problems for Inter Miami. It was frustrating, and then they figured it out, and it got exciting as hell. So, kudos to one franchise and the other still trying to be a wannabe. What everybody's doing? Everybody's chasing the Miami Heat, the team and the franchise that sets the standard in this town. Inter Miami's chasing it. The Miami Dolphins are chasing it. The Florida Panthers are chasing it. The Marlins can only dream. It's the way it goes. Ira Winderman and our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Next.
Coverage of Zach Thomas's induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame is brought to you by Sloman's Home Security. No gimmicks, no minimum requirements, no activation fee, and they never charge for installation. See for yourself now how Sloman's makes it easy and affordable to secure your home. Sloman's has been serving customers for 100 years. Call 1-866-756-6467 and tell them the Big O Radio Show sent you. Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
This is the Big O Show. This is
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All right, there he is, Ira Winderman. I know you're a man of all sports. Were you watching Messi and the boys last night?
I did not. The whole Apple Plus thing has me a little perplexed as to what I'm going to do with that. I paid for enough packages as it is, so I pick them up and I drop them. But I saw the highlights. I saw what happened. And Big O, I would argue to you that the MLS is doing themselves a huge disservice with this Apple TV deal and the limited distribution. You are trying to build a following. You're trying to create the excitement. I don't know whether it was opening the package maybe for just the Messi games. We know that's why people are subscribing. But you want to draw people into the drama by letting them be part of the drama. And instead, I think they're sort of shutting them out. And I know sports are going in the direction of this a la carte and of this paywall, and you have to buy as you go. It's their prerogative. I think the MLS made a huge mistake.
No, I disagree with you
Okay.
because they don't have the NBA and NFL and Major League Baseball's TV packages. And because of that, just like hockey, that they have to raise ticket prices in order to generate revenue, the soccer has to do the same thing that they do. And in other words, they had to come up with this Apple package because they knew they were getting Messi. And so how in the hell are they going to pay for that? And so these owners are not going to have that. So they have to get creative behind Adidas, behind Apple, behind all these sponsors in order to pay for these stars. And so what's the other way that you offset it? You offset it by pay-per-view. And so you put in Apple, and all of a sudden everybody can get Apple. And remember, Apple's worldwide. So they're also gaining subscribers outside of the country at the same time. And so it's a league that struggles for revenue. And you're now bringing in the biggest star that's bigger than anybody in the U.S. So how in the hell are you going to pay for a guy that costs more than LeBron, more than Mike Trout and Ohtani combined? And so then, it just gets to just a ridiculous thing, and you've got to do something about it. And this is the way you got to get creative when you're in the NHL and Major League Soccer.
I would find it hard to believe that if ESPN knew this kind of fanaticism was there, the network that at this time of year is giving us cornhole, the slippery stairs. We were watching pillow fighting on Friday night on the Ocho, that they could create this kind of interest.
But Ira, look what's going on, my brother. Disney said, ESPN, you're off, bro. We're done with you. We're not carrying your ass anymore. ABC, we're done with you. We're not carrying your ass anymore. Why? Because traditional media is not being followed the way it used to be. Traditional radio, traditional television, and we're not going to lose our ass off. So ESPN now is on its own island. It has to pay for itself, all the rights fees, all the hosts, everything. This is why you're seeing them make so many cuts now. They don't have that kind of money anymore, Ira, to go do these kind of things. So ESPN is going to be limited now compared to the ESPN that, we kind of grew up with.
I get ESPN Plus, and I have the package also, and there's so much on there that it makes it worthwhile versus one or two things. Right. Look, let's be honest, Big O, also. Messi is a phenomenon. Inter Miami has become a phenomenon. Yep. But be honest with me, Big O. If any other two MLS teams were playing, if NYFC was playing Dallas, you wouldn't be watching. You're not watching the Apple package for anything but this. I just think there's
hey, Ted Lasso, watch your mouth.
Okay. All right. And I think we've moved on from there. So again, every package can have its hot commodity. I just, did my Hulu 1 month free so I could watch The Bear and catch both seasons. Then you cancel and you move on. I just think if a league wants to endure, one, you've got to move as many games as possible to Hard Rock. You have to, because there is a demand out there. It would be bigger in the community. It would be better for local endorsements. You have to do that, number one.
And you can actually have a section of cheap tickets.
I'm just saying, is you can fill the whole place. I understand with UM and the Dolphins and wanting to keep the field, that's an issue.
Yeah.
There is a Fox element to the MLS deal. And I think Fox Network, not even FS1, should jump in and put some of these games on nationally, the Messi games. I think the exposure would help the league also. I think Fox would pony up a little more for that. Fox money might be able to do it.
The thing is Apple going to give that up now? Because you know what I'm saying?
Oh, no. I think the horses, the barn door is open and they're out, and they get all that. But it's just a shame because this is something so special for our country. Look, I'm older. I go back to the Cosmos and when Pele got here, and how much that meant to at least give that boost to the North American Soccer League. You remember that?
I went to Lockhart a couple times as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, just remember that with the national exposure help there. I just think this is a shame because this is fantastic stuff going on, and you're seeing a true maestro, project his game. Granted, it's the 16th best league in the world, but still, what he's doing is still phenomenal just off of what comes off of his boot.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch, and I wonder if Major League Baseball goes, we screwed up. We should have let those brothers buy the baseball team because our sport is going to die there in South Florida because we don't have an owner to keep up with those owners right there, because they're going to take all the headlines in the summer from here on out.
And especially when they move to Miami, and think how close
Ooh.
they'll be. Think how close the exit to the airport is to Lone Depot
next
Park
exit.
right now. You're like
Yeah.
across the street. So, it's not almost like you get to that on 17th Avenue, you get to that Walgreens. Do you go left to the Marlins game, or do you go right to the Inter Miami game? You're going to go to the Inter Miami game because it's a happening. So, yeah, I think as tough as it is now for the Marlins, and their 6:30 starts and trying to get people to watch by starting earlier, I think it only gets tougher for them.
And by the way, Moss Brothers, put a roof on it, bitch. Put a roof on it. The
Yes.
Marlins learned their lesson. You have your sport in our rainy season.
Correct.
Get smart, dude. Put a roof on that bitch. Plus, you're right next to the airport. Put a roof on that thing.
I mean, and it's interesting because the U.S. Open is about to start in tennis, and they actually get LaGuardia to move the flight pattern when they have the tournament. I do wonder when Messi plays his games and it's an international event, will they move the planes around there? It's a much bigger airport. It's an international airport. So I'm curious about that. But yeah, the shame is the Messi introduction was rained out and delayed. 2 of his games have been rain delayed also. It's just that time of year. And Big O, you know this because you and me are old school. You remember when they played a pro player, when the Marlins played, every game was delayed. There was no such thing as a non-delayed game there. Yeah.
Well, I worked the first couple of years with Inter Miami, and we had a shit ton of delays. Sean and I laugh about it. Every time there's a rain delay, there's a text between me and him like, God, thank God we're not there. It's like, oh my God, what a blessing that I'm not doing this anymore, because it was a pain in the ass.
And we see Canes games delayed by weather. We see FIU games delayed by weather. Like, you got to understand your market and where you live. So that will be interesting.
Cole Swider. Tell me about Cole Swider.
Well, here's what's interesting. He's a very, very good three-point shooter. 2 years ago, the Miami Heat were the everything in three-point shooting in the NBA. And now we've seen that drop off. They had this blip during the playoffs, which is great. But you've already lost Gabe Vincent. You've already lost Max Strus. There is a possibility, a reasonable chance, you're going to lose Duncan Robinson in the Damian Lillard trade. So what you're seeing the Heat do right now is they're going to have to reload on three-point shooters. This team that had everyone who was a three-point shooter, look, Dame Lillard's going to get in the lane. He's going to pass. He's still a point guard. Who's he going to throw the three-pointer assist to? It's not going to be to Bam. It's not going to be to Jimmy Butler. So, and if Tyler Hero was dealt, that's another three-point shooter you're losing. So I think the Heat are covering themselves there. This is a subtle hint, a subtle tell when they made this decision to bring him in on this Exhibit 10 contract, that the Heat are saying, okay, we know what the team looks like now, but what are we going to do in a post-Damian Lillard trade? Right. They're thinking that way anyway. It's interesting. The Heat, and you mentioned it, as far as being the touchstone team of how to operate, are thinking what happens if Dame, what happens if no Dame. Yeah. Portland is just wallowing out there. Like, you wonder why one team is good and has forethought and the other team doesn't. And this idiocy of, let's bring Damian Lillard back if we have to into camp and have him play with these young kids. No, you've seen teams, when you make that change, you got to go with your young kids. When you want to set Tua free, you let Ryan Fitzpatrick go, even though he did a great job, because at some point it has to be about the kids and their growth and not looking over your shoulder, Scoot Henderson, and saying, hey, Dame has not played a single NBA game off the bench. I don't want to start my career off the bench. Portland's you got to move. Moves are hard. There were hard decisions in every sport. There were hard decisions for the Heat to trade Eddie Jones. There were hard decisions to trade Caron Butler. But at some point you have to say, hey, we love you, but we have to move on. Portland's indecisiveness right now is just getting in the way of everything. Bad team, losing record, no playoffs, team that thinks ahead and has forethought, Miami Heat. Even when Andy and Pat are on vacation, they're still adding players, tweaking the roster. And
look at this weekend. Zach Thomas goes into the Hall of Fame, right? Well, Jimmy Johnson comes to Miami and he brings Jack Del Rio with him. He drafts Zach and he's, well, I'll groom this kid. It'll be a special team or whatever. First week, he says, holy shit, this kid's for real. He turns to Jack with respect and says, Jack, dude, I made a mistake. I got to let you go now so you can try to find a job, but this is my starter. And he made the change, right away. Now, on the Portland side, I think Joe obviously doesn't have a lot of experience with all of this, but to me, the worst part about all of this for him is that he's allowing all this crap to fester on his end. And it just creates just a whole bunch of uncomfortable situations for the fans, for the people in the front office, for Dame, for the players, for Scoot, who's taken over for Dame. So none of this is because Scoot's like going, is he coming or is he not? Is he going to show up? Am I going to be uncomfortable? Am I, and so you're creating all this hell and you just keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. Now on the flip side, so it's kind of a two-part question.
Sure.
And I think that the Heat are kind of doing that now. They're planning ahead for this trade. So that when I saw the Cole thing, I was like, okay, another three-point shooter. Okay, they know what they're going to lose. It's kind of like watching Chris Greer go, okay, Jalen got injured. Let me go get Eli Apple. Let me go get this other DB because I had a shitload of injuries last year. I don't want this to happen to me again. Let me be prepared just in case it happens again. So I kind of see both sides of it, but it looks like one has an uncomfortable situation, and then the Heat is kind of in a stalemate that they've got to prepare for what could happen, but they can't over-prepare because they can't commit to certain deals because if it doesn't happen, then that creates their own problems.
Yeah, and exactly. And again, you feel for the guys like the Tylers and the Duncans and the Kyle that are spinning in the wind. Spoke to Bam Adebayo at his camp at Slam Miami High School over the weekend. And even he was honest. He goes, I'm not a GM. I have no idea what the hell is going on. I don't know what my team is going to be. You want stability. It doesn't have to be in August, but it needs to be in September when guys filter back into the gym when they get there. I'm going to be honest with you, Big O. If you're asking me where would I rather be on media day on October 2nd, if there's no deal with Lillard, I'd rather be in Portland because I'd love to hear what he has to say. Because that'll be the first time. I know all the Heat players. Everyone will be back. Whether Tyler's there, that'll be interesting to ask him questions. But it's still Jimmy's team. It's still Bam's team. We know the core of the team. But how is Dame going to react with that? He has been very good about saying nothing, about cutting his rap album, about staying out of the way. He's a professional. He understands it. All the Heat players we talked to, Josh Richardson said last week, hey, I want to know what's going on. It's going to affect my position. Am I a starter? Am I a reserve? What's going to happen? But I have to let it play out. Bam Adebayo said the same thing. Udonis Haslem was talking about the young players there, even though he's retired, the same thing. So you don't want players twisting in the wind. Tyler Hero went home. He threw the first pitch out in Milwaukee. No Heat logo there. He went with the name Boy Wonder on his jersey. Kyle Lowry went to U.S. Olympic camp or World Cup camp with Steve Kerr. He was there with Chris Paul talking about it, working around it. You'd like to see them move forward. You know the framework. I wrote in the Sun Sentinel this weekend. I broke down every other team in the NBA. There's not a lot of other teams bidding against you. Joe Cronin needs to get to work, needs to get it done, needs to put this in his rearview mirror so he can become what he wants. And then, of course, the Heat can become what they want as well.
Wade having his moment.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wrote the first of several stories I'm doing this week, and I talked to a bunch of different players about the different chapter of his career. So I spoke to Gary Payton when he said, hey, when Dwyane took over in 2006, he made his statement. Then I talked to Mario Chalmers, and he said, and this is fascinating, Big O. As a matter of fact, I'll let you think the rest of your show about this. Dwyane Wade, a player in the prime of his career, decided to defer. He deferred to LeBron. He made sure Chris Bosh got his stuff. Dwyane Wade could have been a leading scorer, sort of James Harden-esque in his career, but decided not to. Is there another Hall of Famer at the absolute peak of his career who stepped back behind someone? Now, the big three was unique, obviously with LeBron and Chris Bosh. But it's not like Scottie Pippen stepped back. Scottie Pippen was always behind Michael Jordan. Right. LeBron never stepped back. He just wasn't.
Kareem was older, so he had to take a back step because it kind of became Magic's team, and he took a back step. That's like the closest I can come up with.
And some people might even point to when Wilt went to the Lakers and he agreed to become more facilitator. Bob McAdoo went to the Lakers.
Yeah, but that was
sixth man.
But I think, to Wilt's credit on that, that was his coach that really reached him and said, Wilt, this is how we're going to win. And so to Wilt's credit, he understood that this is the higher IQ way of playing things. And again, you also have to have the ability. God, Wilt, bro, Jesus Christ, he had the ability to do whatever the hell he wanted. He had the vision to pass the ball. So to his credit, he did something to make the team better. Whereas Kareem actually did what you were talking about. He literally took a step back and
But again,
said,
he was sort of on the downside or had
right,
peaked.
right, exactly.
Dwyane
That's why it's a
Wade,
little different. Yeah.
Dwyane Wade was a rising star in 2010. He was it. He would have been the number one player on 26 other NBA teams.
Yep.
And yet, during that second training camp with LeBron, where he went to the Bahamas, he told Spo, I'm going to play off the ball. I'm going to learn how to cut without the ball. I'm going to become that Reggie Miller type of player. I'm going to let LeBron be the man. They won 2 consecutive championships. That really is unprecedented and what makes him unique. And I don't know if you saw this or Sean saw this over the weekend, the drivel from Jeff Teague, when he was talking about legacies. And he said, James Harden's the better player because people aren't trying to emulate Dwyane Wade. They're trying to do the step back 3 in James Harden. Like, what a bunch of BS. Winning still matters. And to be effective and to win at the same time means everything. There is one player who in game 3 against Dallas, down 13 points in the fourth quarter, said, I ain't going out this way, and won. There's another player in James Harden who is wilted in every single playoff appearance, dating back to when the Heat played the Thunder in the NBA Finals in 2012. So these kind of comparisons, whether it's Paul Pierce, doing his talk recently about being better than Dwyane, what Dwyane did is what we all want people to do. We want people to put out their best product and to be a team player. Dwyane Wade as ultimate teammate. We talk about UD all these years about that. But Dwyane really was that during the Big 3 era. And I think that goes unnoticed. Every one of Dwyane Wade's career numbers, from points to rebounds to assists to everything, could have been higher and would have been higher if he wanted. But he chose to win instead.
Yeah, man. Magic probably could have scored more points, but he knew facilitating would make everybody better. Bird could have scored more points if he wanted to, but he was a fantastic passer. And that entire team had that entire, attitude about each other, that they had to set each other up in order to be the best that they could be. And to me, that's part of this game that you got to figure out. We've seen, when Michael was greedy, he would get his ass kicked all the time. All the time. And that's because he had Orlando Woolridge and Rory Sparrow, and he didn't have the kind of then when he finally got a coach and then got some players like Holmgren and Pippen and Cartwright and then started to get shooters around him, then he became more of a facilitator and he got guys involved. And that's why Paxson and Kerr and Hodges shot big shots in big moments because Michael set them up. You know what I mean? So it's part of the game that some guys figure it out. And then we see the Carmelos and we see the Allen Iversons of the world that when you go that selfish route that you think you could just score, that's not going to get you anywhere, dude. Those guys never win like that.
Well, let me ask you this, because I'm not going to talk to you between now and the inductions on the weekend. So the 2 biggest names going in are Dwyane Wade and Dirk Nowitzki. And I've argued this back and forth with people. I think Dwyane has a bigger NBA legacy as a player. I think, and I get the impression the NBA is going to treat Dirk as the star of the weekend because they love the international element. And he was one of the great initial international stars after Sabonis. And I get it. But Big O, am I wrong? And I spoke to some people at BAM's event over the weekend. I think Dwyane had a much better career than Dirk Nowitzki.
Hell yeah.
I think he's a much more of an all-time list player in the top 10 or 15 or 25 than Dirk Nowitzki. And yet I think if you watch this weekend, it's almost like it's an homage to Dirk more than Dwyane. And I think that's unfair to Dwyane.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you on that one. I would say Dwyane had the better career. I know that this whole international thing, because that's the reason why the NBA is growing.
Right.
Let's also be honest, okay? It's not just our homegrown talent. We have a lot of international players now in this league, and this league will get to expand to Vegas and Seattle soon. Why? Because we have a lot of international players. So the pool is a lot bigger. So I understand the method behind the madness of giving love to the international players so the international community sees it, and then other players around the world are going to say, hey, that's the place I want to go to. They embrace everybody. So I get, and the NBA is all about inclusion, by the way. That's what they're all about. So I understand all of that, but I cannot argue that Dwyane Wade was.
And I think that's going to be a hard part of this week, is that people are going to try to go otherwise, and I just don't see that. The star of this year's class.
So being selfless, so you get punished for being selfless.
Yes. The stars of this year's class, From a player perspective or Dwyane Wade, and of course from a coach perspective is Greg Popovich. To me, those are the two headliners. But you know what? They're trying to create theater also. I get that.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, what do you got going on the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Full week of Dwyane Wade coverage. Going to get Pat Riley's thoughts. Going to write about how Dwyane being so selfless, look over his career. He has his press conference on Friday covering that, his induction on Saturday. It's sort of Dwyane week. And let's be honest, I still have the Miami Heat have acquired Damian Lillard story in my computer right here. I already have the paragraph written. The Heat have acquired Damian Lillard for XX, XXX, and XXX. So hopefully my editors put in the right names there in case I happen to be not reachable. So it's going to be monitoring Dame the whole time, but I think this is Dwyane Wade's week. He deserves a week like this. I like how it's staggered. It wasn't the same week as Zach Thomas. We got to celebrate Zach last week. We get to celebrate Dwyane this week. Then we get into football and everything starts up for real. So bunch of Dwyane Wade coverage coming up in your Sun Sentinel and at your doorstep.
Subscribe, folks, like I do, and make sure you follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. Ira, as always, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it.
Catch you in our next Acura Pembroke Pines report. Thanks, Big O.
Thank you, sir. There you go, Ira Winderman. And don't forget, when it comes to Acura Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume sales dealership in the United States. For many years, I said Southeast United States. They are now #1 in the United States. So the Summer of Performance event is going on right now. They've got 3.9% financing. Check it out. You can get up to 3.9% financing. So check it out at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75. And Pines, the finest dealership in the business. It is Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA Report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines. Coverage of Zach Thomas's induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame is brought to you by EJDconstruction.com. For additions, home remodeling, and custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. Coverage of Zach Thomas's induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame is brought to you by Wilton Rayon. With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, they're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation, 954-966-4646.
Hialeah Park Casino is turning 10, and we're bringing you an anniversary bash like never before. See a million, win a million. Join us every Saturday in August, where 10 lucky customers will have a chance to take home $1 million. Snap a selfie with $1 million in cash, post it on social media, and get ready to win even more fantastic prizes. Come to Hialeah Park Casino's 10th anniversary celebration and make history with us. When you see a million, win a million.
Coverage of Zach Thomas's induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame is brought to you by CuttersEdgePro.com, your total landscape solution. Improve, beautify, and increase property values through landscape. CuttersEdgePro.com provides high-quality, great service and products at a fair market value. Our platform's coverage of Zach Thomas's induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame is brought to you by EJDconstruction.com. Wilton Rayon Law Firm serving South Florida to the Keys. Perdomo Cigars. Visit their retail store in Miami Lakes. CuttersEdgePro.com, your total landscape solution. Sloman's Home Security. Visit them at slomans.com. Baptist Health of South Florida. Visit them at baptisthealth.net. On behalf of everyone on the Big O radio show platform, we'd like to congratulate Miami Dolphins Hall of Famer linebacker Zach Thomas. The Big O radio show hits the road once again. This time, Miami Dolphins fans, we're in Canton, Ohio to watch Zach Thomas get the honor he deserves as he's inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. This road trip is brought to you by Cutter's Edge Pro, Sloman's Home Security, EJDconstruction.com, Perdomo Cigars, Baptist Health of South Florida, and Wilton Rayon Law Offices. And now, here's your host, Orlando Alzugari.
I don't welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Hour number 2 of the program. Thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we talked to Ira Winderman. We will talk to Marcel Louis-Jacques in just a couple of minutes here. We'll get his thoughts on the Dolphins, on what's going on with the Dolphins. I already gave you my thoughts on the Christian Wilkins situation. You can rewind there if you are just tuning in. Give you guys a little bit of I think more of a realistic perspective on that situation. To be quite honest, Sweden eliminates the U.S. women's national team. Look, they won the last 2 World Cups. The rest of the world is getting way better. They've caught up to the ladies. This women's team got old. Some of their better players, Rapinoe and all that, Morgan, they're not where they used to be. That's all. And I know Morgan says she may not hang it up yet. And what is she going to be, 38 or something next one? Come on, bro. So Alex Morgan, their younger stars have to develop and become studs. And that's just the way it is, unfortunately. And listen, maybe also the coach wasn't good enough. There's a lot of things that can be blamed. But let's not act like a bunch of spoiled brats. The ladies have spoiled the hell out of all of us with a lot of winning. And so we kind of assume. So we're shocked that they're out so early. But I think there's a couple factors in there. The younger stars are not there. The older stars are less. And the coaching, I think, wasn't exceptional. So it's kind of a combination of things. They've got some things to tweak for the next 4 years and figure things out. But, you know, I'm not going to sit here and rip the ladies when they have been so phenomenal throughout their entire run. We'll see now. Now we need a new crop of players, man. You know, you had the Mia Hamms and all those in the past. You have your Morgans, your Rapinos now, and now you got to move on. And now we need a new set of names that have to step up and become the stars. That's all. It's just an evolution. And this was just the end of an era, and you need to start a new era in women's soccer. Now the challenge is on. So let's see if they're able to get it done. It would be pretty cool if they can. Did you go see Barbie at all this weekend?
Yes.
You did? Okay. When? Because I didn't see you leave.
I'm good with
Osmosis?
Yeah, we were out the window right in the car.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, our car's literally right outside the window. Barbie surpassed 1 billion, dude. Wow. I have no interest in seeing that movie whatsoever. But for you folks out there, for you ladies and anybody else that likes it, hey, man, more power to you. Let me see what we got on the chat board here. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. Don't forget to hit the hell out of that like button. Very important. Premier Reviewer is first. Nice. Brian Landis says 10 o'clock start time today. Yay. Eddie Lepp is in. Alexis is in. Ray is in. Nyborg. Mike Honcho. Ohio John says listening while moving today. FYI, moving is the worst, dude. I hate moving, dude. Can't stand it. Yes, Frankie. Hell of a game by Messi. Chris Ruiz says, Buenos dias, mi hermano. By the way, don't forget, here on the platform, you can go back and check out our interview with Zach Thomas we did yesterday. We're the first outlet anywhere, not just South Florida, to do an interview with him after induction and speech. First ones, baby. So go check it out. Plus, got a video of visiting the Hall of Fame yesterday after Zach's bus was actually put in there. Also, while we were there, we got a really emotional moment. Mindy Coriel, the daughter of Don Coriel, she was there at the same moment we were, and I filmed it. And she was, obviously very emotional seeing her dad's bust finally where it belongs, because obviously Eric Coriel was a hell of a time and a hell of a coach. So that was actually really cool. You'll see that there. You'll see all those things. And then you'll see some of the stuff we did over the weekend. Great job by Sean. He put together a lot of pieces. He's working his ass off till late last night to finish all that stuff off. So make sure you watch it and hit the like button and all that stuff, man. It's really, really important that you do that. I see Matthew Hernandez is in. Cruz is going to hit a Perdomo champagne. Well, you know what? With Messi winning yesterday, Sean, why don't we give Messi and Inter Miami a victory cigar? Like it. I like it. There we go. Matthew Hernandez, Chad is in. Gus 1388, Jose Lucas, Trafasi, a bunch of you. I appreciate you. All right, let's do it. Marcel Louis Jacques. The court is now in session.
Coverage of Zach Thomas's induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame is brought to you by Perdomo Cigars. Perdomo has some of the most sought-after handmade cigars that set the standard for quality and flavor around the world. We hope you enjoy their cigars and invite you to visit their retail store in Miami at 5150 Northwest 167th Street, Miami Gardens, Florida.
All rise, football fans, as the Wilton Rayon Miami Dolphins report with Marcel Louis Jacques is in session.
Wilton Rayon has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider Marcel Louis Jacques.
All right.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, baby. You watch a little Messi action last night?
Oh, of course, man. I'm over here. I'm half asleep. I've been traveling since 6 a.m., but I wasn't going to miss that. I was ready to turn it off. 4-2 in the 80th minute. I was ready to turn it off. I was like, after that own goal, I was like, all right, bro. That was fun.
Did you turn it off in Baltimore down 21 when Tua brought him back?
I mean, I was there, so no, I did not. I have my story written.
So now you know. Now you know. Messi.
You can believe I have my damn story written. And throughout the fourth quarter, I was just
Messi,
delete.
and Jimmy Butler. You don't count those mofos out, bro.
But I'm saying this right here. I said it last night. I don't care what the price of admission was. If you could pay $200 to guarantee you see Leo score at least twice,
and win in PK,
is that not worth it? Like, are you not?
No. Everybody left happy in Dallas.
Yeah, like you're buying the ticket. You buy the ticket hoping he scores once.
Yeah,
hoping he assists on a goal. He's got 3 braces in 3 straight games.
Yeah.
I don't care what the ticket price is. That is worth the admission. And
that game was awesome last night.
Oh my God, man!
Unless you were Dallas, you know what I mean. By
the
way, to Dallas's credit, the guys at the front, the speed was a pain in the ass for Miami. They played shitty defense early on because they got caught every time. You know, the Cucamonga guy was, bro. That guy don't have around. He's got some wheels, bro.
What's it called? The issue, they're kind of hoping that Jordi Alba solves their backline problems, but they have talent between him and Yedlin. Yedlin has just been played so far up.
Well, we need Gregory
played so far up.
We need Gregory.
It's such a, and they're so kind of top heavy when it comes to that attack. With obviously with Messi, with Robert Taylor, with Joseph Martinez or Leo Campagna, Campagna was way better. Honestly, he was more.
Campagna and Kremoski were just electricity off the bench.
Yeah, like the inner attack all of a sudden is excellent.
Yeah,
I saw them a couple games before Messi. Robbie Robinson could dangle his way into the box and then was terrified to shoot. Now everybody, it seems like, has just been unlocked. And no surprise because it's Messi, but they got to do something about that back line, and that's kind of.
We need Gregory back. Once Gregory gets back, if supposedly he's training and everything, once Gregory gets back, that's the best defender we have, and so that's the one guy you really need. Shit, he was one of the captains, so he's definitely. But that was a lot of fun last night, man. A lot of fun. All right, I got to ask you because I talked about this earlier on the show. I think there's way too much drama being talked about with Christian Wilkins. I know some of you guys have to get clicks and get some movement and all that. when I hear all the praise I hear from the Dolphin front office and coaches, you don't praise people when you're in negotiations because that's like ammunition for them. You know that, I know that. I think this is going to get done. I just think there's a lot of, cliches. There's a lot of T's to cross and I's to dot. And so you've got to come up with roster bonuses and guarantees, and then you've got to come up with outs just in case to protect yourselves. This is a long contract, not an easy contract. And I think what people maybe still haven't realized, this front office just doesn't give away money. So they're going to try to negotiate a contract that's fair for them, but also gives them a little flexibility one way or another. No matter how good of a player you are, they're going to want some kind of flexibility. So to me, I just think people are, and I get it, it's kind of slow, so you got to fill some stuff, but I think there's a little too much overreaction. This shit's going to get done, dude.
Yeah, I would say, I think the tough thing with Christian Wilkins is, like, when you watch the team, you know the value. When you watch him play, you know his value. When you watch his stats, it doesn't pop like a guy, it doesn't pop like an Aaron Donald, it doesn't pop like a Chris Jones, like a Quinnen Williams.
He's a different player than that.
He's a different player. I think so when I'm saying, like, that's what probably, just devil's advocate, guys, when we're talking about what a holdup is, it's probably that. But now the Dolphins screw themselves a little bit because all these guys are signed. There's a precedent now. You want to be the first one, not the fifth one, to sign their guy. Right. You don't want to wait till, so now you're in another battle with the Chiefs and Chris Jones, because God forbid if Chris Jones signs before Christian Wilkins does, you could lock in 20 plus a year. You lock in 20 plus a year.
I think he was going to get 20 a year in the first place.
I'm saying
I thought it'd be somewhere in the 18 to 20 range. So I'm not surprised if he gets 20.
I think it could go. I think it could still go either way right now. But I'm saying if Chris Jones signs, obviously Wilkins isn't going to beat Chris Jones, as he shouldn't. But it's going to be in that neighborhood because he's going to say, "Ain't no way you're going to pay me this far below market value." If we've seen what the market is between Jeffrey Simmons, between Dexter Lawrence, between Quinnen Williams, between that Chris Jones coming up. Like, that's a lot of, I think there's still one that I'm forgetting about as well. Another D tackle that I'm forgetting about as well. The market's there.
Yeah.
But everybody wants
let me explain
both sides want him in Miami right now.
Let me explain something to you that kind of goes with all of this. And Sean, I'm looking at you now. Okay. All right. Yesterday we saw a Hall of Famer that played cornerback named Rondé Barber, correct? And then we also saw another one named Darrelle Revis. And so this is the interesting conversation of all of this. So we're watching the round table, and Rondé Barber goes, "Hey, I had to do other things to become great. I had to do things that other people may not do as much, or score on fumbles, which a lot of corners don't do. I was able to do that more than others, but I'm not that guy over there." And he points to Darrelle Revis, and he says, "That dude was special." And he goes, "That dude got in as a first ballot because he deserves. Dude, you deserve to be a first ballot. It took me a little bit, but you deserve what you got. I deserve what I got." And to me, Rondé Barber is Christian Wilkins. To me, Aaron Donald is Darrelle Revis. They're both Hall of Famers, but they're different kind of Hall of Famers because they made their impacts in different ways. And so that's where I think we have to look at things like Art Monk is one kind of receiver and Jerry Rice is another kind of receiver. It doesn't mean that Art Monk wasn't great. It's just he's a different kind of receiver. So was Steve Largent compared to Jerry Rice, compared to, whoever you want to start naming that's going to be a super dynamic receiver going in to the NFL Hall of Fame. And I think that's what we have to look at it at times and stop comparing to one person to the other, because Warren Sapp got 100 sacks, Joe Klecko didn't. Doesn't mean that Joe Klecko wasn't great. You know what I'm saying? He was great. I watched him. I saw him. I saw him throw people around like it was a rag doll. I saw him blow up offensive lines like it was going out of style. Now, he's a different player than Aaron Donald. And that's where I think we have too much of a hookup because we're so in love with sacks. And that's where we're holding Christian Wilkins back when he tackles more than them, when he tackles more for loss than them, when he does things that other guys don't do. And he does a better job against the run against some of these guys. So some of them might be better pass rushers. He might be a better all-around player.
I think I'm not ready to. I know it's not the point of what you're saying. I'm not ready to call Christian Wilkins Rondé Barber yet. I think it's like right now it's like Antonio Cromartie and Darrelle Revis, where, you know, I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer yet, but he should be a multiple-time Pro Bowler and could flirt with All Pro as well. He's
already Ring of Honor type. That's for sure.
It's only been like 4 years. It's only been like 4 years.
And I expect him
very good. He's been very good. But like I said,
what I'm saying is
Antonio Cromartie was also very good.
What I'm saying is the pace he's on is already Ring of Honor. The pace. So like keeps this in the upward trajectory. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not getting there to Hall of Fame yet, but you know, eventually we could get to that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's.
I see Cam Wake, and somebody asked me to say, "You think Cam Wake will get a Hall of Fame?" I said, "No shot." And he was a great sack artist, but he didn't do anything else. He wasn't great against the run, you know. And so, that's where it there's a drop off. You know what I'm saying? And when I look at Christian Wilkins, I just see a guy that impacts the game in so many different ways. But I know he's not a great sack artist. You know, that I understand, but neither was Joe Klecko. He wasn't a great sack artist. That doesn't necessarily mean he didn't have a great impact on the game.
So here's the thing as well, that I do agree that we football fans get so caught up in like comparing one-to-ones, like comparing kind of apples to oranges, that like it's taken as disrespect almost when you say like this guy ain't that guy. I mean, not to, you know, to call back an old debate, you know, when I was talking about front sevens the other week with somebody online, like talking about the Dolphins is good. Dolphins are good. The Niners are the Niners.
No, the Niners.
It doesn't mean the Dolphins aren't good.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean the Dolphins aren't good. Like just because Christian Wilkins isn't Aaron Donald doesn't mean Christian Wilkins is, you know, replacement level.
Exactly.
Don't get us wrong. The market, you are exactly what the market dictates you're worth. You are worth exactly what the market dictates you're worth. There's been some debate whether or not he's worth $20 million a year. If that's the going market for a star defensive tackle, guess what, man? He is worth $20 million a year. That is how it goes.
Yeah. I think eventually his deal will have $20 million a year when it's all said and done. All right. Are you where are you at right now with the O-line? Because I'm expecting Kendall Lamb to be moved to right tackle, and I'd put Isaiah Wynn at left guard personally. But your thoughts?
I again have to kind of tiptoe through who I can say practices where. I'm also coming off a wedding weekend in which I did not watch a single snap of Dolphins practice. It felt good to disconnect. It felt good to go away. I watched a little bit from afar, you know, the tweets from Saturday's scrimmage from afar. It does sound like there's some competition for Liam Eichenberg. I think it's about the time that there's some competition for Liam Eichenberg there, who is overall a nice guy, but has statistically been the worst offensive lineman on this damn line since he got here in 2021. Yeah. Since I've got here. All 100% of the Dolphins games I've covered, he's been the worst offensive lineman on the starting five.
I don't think anybody can argue with you there, bro.
It drove me nuts that Austin Jackson got so much hell for it when it was like he's not been good, but he's been fine. He hasn't been Liam. Liam and Jesse Davis were, in terms of level of bad. They said that he got a little better before he got hurt last year.
Yeah. Which I didn't see it, but I heard the same thing.
I didn't see it either, but, you know.
Yeah, he had a couple of wins in the first week of practice. He actually had a couple of these, and then everything completely went awry.
Look, I'm willing to give benefits of the doubt because they never got to play with their full five. You know, they never got to play at their full strength. We never really got to see this line become a cohesive unit. So, like, it's been hard to kind of pick them apart. But, like, so what do I always say on the show? Oh, that, like, actions speak louder than words. Like, they'll tell you the truth if you just listen to what they're, not just what they're saying, but watch what they're doing. So we hear the support for Austin Jackson. We hear the support for Liam Eichenberg. Then we see them sign Dan Feeney. We see them sign Isaiah Wynn and Cedric Ogbuehi. Like, we could hear, you could say all the support you want, all the compliments and whatever you want, but we've seen legitimate replacements now being signed for the first time since both players have been here. So, like, there are guys waiting in the wing right now. Like, this top five is not set in stone per se. I like Kendall Lamb. I like Kendall Lamb a lot. I think he's primary swing tackle option right now, depending on what happens with the right tackle battle, the Austin Jackson and Isaiah Wynn battle. Once we see Teron Armstead kind of more integrated in the lineup, that is what kind of throws a wrench into things, and why you have to keep that in mind when you watch practice and you see certain combinations at practice. If Teron Armstead's not practicing, he is the left tackle. That's about as sure.
Yeah, no, it's
a sure thing.
It gets him completely out of whack when he's not practicing. There's no
exactly.
doubt.
So then, like, you might see this guy practice at left tackle who would normally be at right tackle or normally be the second string, and then that guy has to go here and here. It's like that, like a wall of string behind him, like this chaos domino theory. So it is hard to kind of ascertain what the line looks like if he's not practicing. But I mean, it is what we thought it would be from the beginning, which is there's two open spots, or there's two spots in contention, I would say. I think Austin Jackson's been fine. He's won some reps, lost some reps. I don't think he's done anything to ultimately lose him.
I don't like his lost reps. They look like they're bad. Like, when he loses a rep, it looks like he's completely out of place. And that's my problem with him. That'll have some good moments, and then he'll have some whack-ass moments where you're like, yo, dude. Like, I saw him last week get beat back-to-back by Phillips and Ogba like he was a cigar store mannequin, bro. And it's like, yo, dude, no, this can't happen to you, dude. You can't do shit like this. And it's still happening, years in. I'm almost at the point where I think I've seen enough, but, like, under these guys, I'm almost like I've seen enough. And when I look at Kendall Lamb, the dude does a respectable job. And Isaiah Wynn, I know he can play all those spots. So why not put him at left guard now at this point? Especially your left tackle doesn't practice all the time. Get the best four out there, bro. Just get the best four out there at least. So the left tackle that is there filling in is, the weak link, and let the other four be the better guys. And that's why for me, I think this first phase of training camp has kind of passed. Now we're in the second phase where now you start playing the games. Actually, I think you need to start making some changes on the offensive line and start experimenting. Like I said, Lamb at right tackle and Wynn at left guard.
We're going to learn. I think we're going to learn a lot this week because it's joint practice with the Falcons this week. Competition is going to be dialed up a lot. It's not going to. You're playing against people you're not used to. So game situations at every practice. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, and we're going to learn a little.
And you don't want to get embarrassed.
You don't want to get embarrassed. Want to get embarrassed. This is a Falcons team. It's a Falcons team that the Dolphins shouldn't have much trouble beating on both sides of the ball.
Amen.
They should not have. There's not the only matchup. It's not issue, but the only one that I'm going to perk my eyebrows up a little bit is that I like what they do in the secondary with Jesse Bates at safety and AJ Terrell at corner. That's going to make things interesting in terms of trying to take the top off that defense. And of course, you got to deal with Grady Jarrett on the offensive line. So, like,
yeah, and I want to see what they do with the tight ends because the experiment with getting Higgy with it is not working out right now because Higgy can't be consistent. He does a good play, does a bad play, good play, bad play, and that.
Seventh round pick, converted tight end. Like, I'm not shocked.
No, I know. But
I would love to see how they
that's your
cover
experiment.
because Kyle Pitts,
but it is an experiment.
Last time they played.
Yeah, but this is an experiment. So it's not like something that we're expecting Tanner Connor or or Higgy to be stars or lead guys in this offense. I get it. He's trying to find a dynamic tight end because his other three guys are, lunch pail guys, consistent lunch pail, blue collar type. So he doesn't have any dynamic player at that spot. So I get what he's trying to do, but it'll be interesting this week to see what happens in that position. You know what I'm saying? Because we might see the running backs catching a lot more balls than what we expected. And then maybe that's why A-Chain was brought also,
I get that's him. That's his MO. And we're going to see another running back. We're going to see another running back who's gotten a lot of hype catching the ball on the other side in Bijan Robinson.
Oh, yeah.
Although, look, man, he might run great routes. He's got good hands. Of course. Double and triple routes in open field one-on-ones against linebackers is not going to make me fawn over somebody.
Right.
There are plenty of reasons to be excited about Bijan Robinson. What we're seeing him do, again, open field, double and triple routes against linebackers, bro, is not one of them. That is a perfect example of training camp hype going a little overboard. You guys have got to be kidding me down there in Atlanta, getting all excited. And you know who I blame? It's not the people in Atlanta. The ones I blame are these damn ML football, NFL rookie watch, JPA football, tough climbing bullshit accounts, man, that see one clip and they've scrubbed every little scrap of reporting they could find on it, put the little eyes wide emoji and say, this guy is going to be a pro.
Yeah. ML football put out some bullshit. ML football put out some bullshit yesterday. The Dolphins have amped up their negotiations with Dalvin Cook, and I retweeted right away. There's no amp up, no nothing. The same deal that was on the table the first day is the same deal that's on the table now. So I retweeted because those clowns do all that shit.
He did crack me up yesterday.
A lot of misinformation, a lot of bullshit out there because there's too many people that just want to get clicks.
And
that's all they do this for.
Keep an eye out on this. They had one yesterday that said, sources say the Dolphins will be signing an interior defensive lineman or will be signing a defensive tackle. When you bring in four guys at the same position to work out, you are usually going to sign a defensive tackle. That's not a source report. Don't give these people clout. I'm just to everybody who might take these accounts more seriously. I promise you, it sounds like I'm hating because I am kind of hating, bro. It's undermining my job when they do that shit. It's not a source report. It's throwing spaghetti at the wall off of deductive reasoning. That's all. They brought in 5 safeties the other day, and guess what happened? They signed a safety. They brought in some corners to work out the other day. You know what happened? They signed a corner. They brought in D linemen. They signed a D. You're not bringing these guys in just to be like, oh, I wonder what this position looks like. Oh, well, I wonder. It's fake. It's a fake clairvoyant.
No, I know.
That's what I blame. Is they do these. They throw out these fucking practice clips. Excuse my language, and hype it up to all hell. And then the people who are so excited to see football for the first time in however many months eat it up. They eat it up. I'll give them credit for one thing. The formula apparently works because people.
It works. It works.
They love that.
Either being a complete hater or a complete homer, that all works. It all works.
And they eat it up. But you know what, man? Meth works too. And people who do meth love meth. It doesn't mean it's good. It doesn't mean it's good for you.
There's something called that echo chamber, and it happens in all kinds of things in life. And some people just want to be in that same echo chamber. They just want to hear what they want to hear.
I saw one, I forget who posted it. They're like, oh, this Jalen Hyatt route, eyes wide emoji. Mans ran a double route in red zone one-on-ones and then did not catch the ball. It was kind of a bad throw, but he did not catch the ball. So what are we using this clip for, man? He doesn't have any other routes. You tell me this route is so damn good that he doesn't have any other ones that I can use, but we have to watch it. It wasn't a good enough route to be worth using a clip where he doesn't catch the damn ball. It still hit his hands. Bad throw. It hit his hands. It's what has happened? What has happened to this industry, man? What has happened to this? This is why I'm not on Twitter that much anymore.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I can't stand seeing these, but all right, man, I'm going to get off my soapbox.
What do you got going on ESPN so folks can check you out?
Oh, man. Well, just preparation for this joint week of practice, we're going to have a lot of storylines coming out of it. Like I said before, we're going to learn a lot about how people perform when a little pressure is on, when you're not just playing against the guys in your own shirt. Hopefully we see, good, clean week of practice. No fighting, no scrums, no brawls, no none of that. Just want to see a good week of practice followed by an engaging game on Friday. But that's what we're focused on here these next couple of days. Hopefully see you guys out at these joint practices. Come say hi if you do. Always love it. Always appreciate, people showing love. And, yeah, man, stay cool. Hydrate. All of that.
Follow him on Twitter at Marcel_LJ. I'll see you on Tuesday, my friend. You be good.
Yes, sir.
Yep. You got it. There you go. Marcel Louis Jacques. And by the way, Wilton Rayon, obviously a great sponsor of our platform. And one of the reasons why we're here covering Zach Thomas's induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I want to thank Dan. I want to thank Jeff. Great sponsors. And if it comes to bankruptcy, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, homeowner, property damage, commercial litigation, personal injury, call my guys wherever you're at in South Florida, wherever you're at in the state. You can call them 954-966-4646. Even if you're not sure if you have a case, call. You may have a case. And if it happened a month ago, a week ago, 2 months ago, call. Okay? Maybe it happened 6 months ago and you're not sure. Call. Run it by Jeff. Run it by Dan. They'll tell you if you have a case, and then they can help you. All right? And we're in hurricane season. God forbid we get hit by a storm. Any of our listeners out there in Florida, period, if you get hit by a storm, you're going to need a law office. You don't want to call straight up the insurance company. You want to call Wilton Rayon first. They're going to send their adjusters, and then their adjusters will take care of everything. So that's why. And they will take care of the insurance company. They will handle it all for you. You'll never, ever make that phone call. That's the beauty. You don't have to deal with any of that. So call Wilton Rayon 954-966-4646 for the best law firm in town.
This has been another session of the Wilton Rayon Miami Dolphins Report with Marcel Louis Jacques. At Wilton Rayon, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Wilton Rayon can help. Coverage of Zach Thomas's induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame is brought to you by Wilton Rayon. With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, they're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Miles an hour, that's a Category 4 hurricane. 3 deaths are reported in Florida after more than 24 were killed in the Caribbean. This
Coverage of Zach Thomas's induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame is brought to you by Baptist Health of South Florida. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer, get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at baptisthealth.net. Our platform's coverage of Zach Thomas's induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame is brought to you by EJDconstruction.com, Wilton Rayon Law Firm serving South Florida to the Keys, Perdomo Cigars. Visit their retail store in Miami Lakes. CuttersEdgePro.com, your total landscape solution. Sloman's Home Security. Visit them at Slomans.com. Baptist Health of South Florida. Visit them at BaptistHealth.net. On behalf of everyone on the Big O radio show platform, we'd like to congratulate Miami Dolphins Hall of Famer linebacker Zach Thomas. The Big O radio show hits the road once again. This time, Miami Dolphins fans, we're in Canton, Ohio to watch Zach Thomas get the honor he deserves as he's inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. This road trip is brought to you by Cutter's Edge Pro, Sloman's Home Security, EJDconstruction.com, Perdomo Cigars, Baptist Health of South Florida, and Wilton Rayon Law Offices. And now, here's your host, Orlando Alzugari.
August 7th, we are here in Ohio. Final day, final show here in Ohio. We will be flying back this afternoon, back to Miami. Tomorrow we'll be at training camp during the morning, and then in the afternoon we'll be at Hialeah Park, and then Wednesday we take off to Quebec, Canada. So we don't stop. By the way, in music history today, 1970, Fleetwood Mac welcomed their new member, the late Christine McVie, the wife of bass player John McVie. Just lost Christine this past year. In 1974, Jay Giles singer Peter Wolf married actress Faye Dunaway. They would divorce 5 years later. In 76, Elton John and Kiki D had the #1 song in America and the UK with Don't Go Breaking My Heart. I couldn't if I tried. In 2002, 3 members of Oasis were injured when a taxi they were riding in crashed while the band was in Indianapolis doing their U.S. tour. Noel Gallagher, Andy Bell, and Jay Darlington all went to the hospital to get treated for cuts and bruises. The concert that night was called off. In 65, Herman's Hermits went to number 1 with their song I'm Henry the Seventh. I am. In 82, Fleetwood Mac began a 5-week run on the top of the charts with their album Mirage. That's Hold Me, right? All right. Oh, yeah, that's the video that they're in the desert, Mirage. And that song Hold Me, and Stevie Nicks is in this red velvet dress on a bed, on a sofa, like, and she looks just absolutely smoking, dude. Like she isn't smoking. 2006, Evanescence released their hit song Call Me When You're Sober. And that's what happened today in music history. Now, let's go with a little birthdays today, August 7th. See what we got going on. What kind of a list is it? We start with Mike Trout today, is 32 years old. Sidney Crosby is 36 years old. Charlize Theron is 48. Jalen Hurts is 25. DeMar DeRozan is 34. Kyler Murray, hopefully he's studying something. He's 26. Let's see. Maggie Wheeler is 62. Anybody know who Maggie Wheeler is? She's I forgot her name in Friends. that one, I forgot that she played. No, that's Fran Drescher was not in Friends. It's the woman that Chandler. Janice, that's it.
I thought you were doing. Also, I thought you were doing.
I said Friends.
I didn't hear it.
Very good. You got Janice. Very good, dude.
I love Friends.
Friends is awesome. It is a great show. Let's see what else. David Duchovny is 63. Tobin Bell, the actor, is 81. Carlos Vives, the singer, is 62. My guy, Bruce Dickinson, singer of Iron Maiden, is 65 years old today. And that, oh, by the way, Carl Switzer passed away in 59, was born on this date in 27. He is, what was the name? Was Spanky the one that had the hair up? No, Spanky was the fat kid with the hat. Alfalfa today would have had a birthday. Okay, Alfalfa. So there you go. When sports and business collide, we like doing something called the KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
Coverage of Zach Thomas's induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame is brought to you by Perdomo Cigars. Perdomo has some of the most sought-after handmade cigars that set the standard for quality and flavor around the world. We hope you enjoy their cigars and invite you to visit their retail store in Miami at 5150 Northwest 167th Street, Miami Gardens, Florida.
Okay. There we are. We are here. We're here. We're everywhere. We're like Sagua Fair. All right. The Pac-12 has been absolutely dismantled in a historic and unprecedented flurry of conference realignments. On Friday, the once mighty Pac-12 went from Pac-10, Pac-9, Pac-8, Pac-6 to Pac-4 now in a matter of days, even hours. San Diego State's decade-old dream of joining the West Coast Premier League disappeared into a hazy afternoon sky like smoke from Wiz Khalifa. No, it says from a 4th of July barbecue, but I just said Wiz Khalifa because it sounds a lot better than a 4th of July barbecue. Wiz Khalifa, bro. Anyway, so as the Aztecs and the rest of the Mountain West sift through the smoldering embers of the Pac-12 and contemplate next steps in its nonsensical college sports world, a growing possibility might be coming up. The Pac-12. That's right. Logic suggests that the members will be playing together in some form of early next year when the Pac-12's current media rights contract expires and its dismemberment becomes official. Less certain is how they'll consummate a marriage. One option is an old-fashioned corporate takeover where one league raids the other, the remnants of the Pac-12. Stanford, Cal, Oregon State, and Washington State could play the prestige card and restock from the creme of the Mountain West and American Athletic Conferences, or Mountain West, being larger and more stable entity, could swallow the Pac-12 leftovers. Those scenarios come with drawbacks, right? So they're talking about all that kind of stuff. The financial upside from the Mountain West schools to each pay an estimated $34 million exit fee to depart by 2024. And abandoning the Pac-12 could leave behind tens of millions of dollars in college football payoff and NCAA tournament distributions, along with a seat at the table of college sports power brokers as the Autonomous Five, aka Power Five. The other option, which multiple Mountain West sources says is gaining traction, is a more merger of the acquisition. You dissolve the Mountain West in name only to eliminate exit fees. Then you move most all of its members into the Pac-12 shell so you can retain its name and power conference status. Then entice Gonzaga to join as a non-football affiliate to further enhance already a solid collection of men's basketball programs, which is true. They do have a lot of basketball programs that are pretty good. Sources said several athletic directors and presidents from both conferences discussed the idea on a preliminary level Saturday. More substantive talks are expected Monday. The remaining 4 Pac-12 members are known to have already met to plot their sudden, uncertain future. We will move and work with others, said the athletic director Scott Barnes from Oregon State. Our intent is to work with the remaining Pac-12 members. It's a strong option. We'll look at other opportunities. The timing is something we want to pursue as soon as possible, but we have some time to get it right. I'm furious because it puts this university in harm's way and our students, athletes in harm's way. There's some damage done that we're going to have to mitigate. Interesting. So the Pac-12, now the Pac-4, the Mountain West could, which makes sense at this point for them to kind of merge. And what it really makes sense is the second part of that story, where you dissolve the Mountain West. That way you eliminate the fees and nobody has to pay anything to get out, and then move everybody over to the Pac-12. And then I don't know if you're able to keep your TV deals will be less money because you have lost some teams that aren't nearly as sexy. It's really rough for college football. They're eliminating a lot of the rivalries, and it's all about cash, dude. It's all about it's what Deion Sanders said the other day. It's all about a bag. Everybody's trying to get a bag. And then when the players try to get a bag, we all get pissed at the players. But meanwhile, what are these schools doing? What have coaches been doing for years? That's why I'm kind of glad that the players have been able to catch up some, because they're the ones that get, misled constantly. That is your KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Coverage of Zach Thomas's induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame is brought to you by Baptist Health of South Florida. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer, get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at baptisthealth.net.
All right. Oh, by the way, True Fin Fan, thank you for the love on the super chat. Says we can't sign everybody. That's just how it is. Yeah. But some of us still want to sign everybody. Ohio John, I was at the Hall of Fame game in 2013 when Warren Sapp was inducted. Bucks fans turned out for that one. Maybe Rondé didn't have the fan connection. I don't know what it is, bro. All I got to say is weak sauce on Tampa's part. That's all I got to say. I don't know about the Bucks with Sapp or whatever, but if anything, Rondé's actually a better person than Sapp. Sapp wasn't nice to anybody, dude. Sapp was a Class A jerk to everybody. So, I get it. He was a great player. There's no doubt about that. Nobody will take that away from him. But, if anybody's going to connect better with human beings, it's going to be Rondé Barber, any of the Barbers, even Tiki over Warren Sapp. So, but I appreciate it, Ohio John. Thank you for the love and the super chat. Thank you, sir. All right, we are out of here. We thank Marcel Louis-Jacques. We thank Ira Winderman, abbreviated. We got to get in a car. We got to drive to Cleveland. We got to get a plane. We got to go to the Hall of Fame. We got to do all kinds of things. We got things to do, people to see, places to go to, and fly back to South Florida. I'll see some of you tomorrow. If you're at camp for practice, say hi, man. We'll be out there checking out practice, having some fun. We thank you all for tuning in. If you send in a super chat, hit the like button, smash the notification bell. That way you know when something new comes on to the platform, breaking news, new segment, new rant, new show, new interview, wrestling show with Sean and Frankie, whatever it is that we got going on the platform. That way you get the notification bell and you know when it happens, just like the Zach Thomas interview that dropped yesterday. If you have not seen that Zach Thomas interview, you can check out our exclusive Zach Thomas interview. It's right here on the platform. We'll see you tomorrow morning. No, we'll see you tomorrow afternoon at Hialeah Park. Same time, same place, same bat chat.
You've been listening to the Big O Radio Show live from Canton, Ohio, as Zach Thomas is inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. This road trip is brought to you by Cutter's Edge Pro, Sloman's Home Security, EJDconstruction.com, Perdomo Cigars, Baptist Health of South Florida, and Wilton Rayon offices. The platform is mastered by Sean Stanley. To make a donation to our platform, please go to Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. to be a sponsor of the #1 platform covering the Miami Dolphins. Reach out to our business line, 786-754-4664. On behalf